Some people love to gamble on your downfall. They wait in the shadows, whispering to each other, placing bets on how hard you'll hit the ground. They think they know your limits, believe they've mapped out your weaknesses. The image of your defeat fuels their smug laughter, their condescending smiles. But there's an irony in all this plotting. Those who expect to witness your fall never consider that you've been broken before, shattered into 1,000 pieces and rebuilt yourself stronger every single time. Their anticipation becomes a pathetic spectacle, one that will age like a bad joke. Your silence has always unsettled them. People mistake quiet for fragility, patience for cowardice. They never consider that you've been watching, waiting, collecting every disappointment, every betrayal, and turning it into fuel. While they waste energy tearing you down, you prepare in the shadows, forging yourself into something unbreakable. Their laughter fills the air, but it never touches you, because you know what they don't. That some of the strongest warriors fight their battles in silence, that the phoenix always rises from its own ashes. And when you rise with fire in your eyes. Every attempt to see you broken only sharpened your resolve. The stones thrown at you became the foundation of your empire. Every mocking word, every scornful look, served as a reminder of why you keep pushing forward. Some people crumble under pressure, but pressure only made you more dangerous. While others buckle, you thrive. While others weep, you transform. There's something villainous about the way you've learned to use pain as a weapon, about how betrayal no longer wounds but empowers. Your fall was a fantasy they entertained, but your rise is a nightmare they never prepared for. Failure is a concept that most people dread, something that leaves them paralyzed. But you've embraced it, made friends with it, learned from every bruise and scar. You've been pulled to the depths, forced to confront the worst parts of yourself, only to emerge more formidable. While others fear hitting rock bottom, you understand that rock bottom is where foundations are laid. Your ability to rebuild is relentless, and it terrifies those who hoped you'd stay broken. They tried to bury you, but what they failed to realize is that you were a seed, destined to grow, destined to bloom with a vengeance. Survival is more than just staying alive. It's thriving in a world that wants you to fail. Your journey was never supposed to be easy, never a straight path lined with comfort. The struggle was your training ground, and every setback was a teacher. You didn't just survive the fall, you became something monstrous and magnificent in the process. Rising higher wasn't just a choice. It was a promise to yourself, a promise that no force, no betrayal, no defeat could keep you down. You owe your strength to those who underestimated you, and that's the bitter irony they'll choke on. Revenge isn't always about destroying your enemies. Sometimes, the best revenge is simply to succeed, to rise above everything meant to destroy you. Your existence is a testament to resilience, a monument to what happens when someone refuses to stay broken. Each victory is a scar that healed stronger, a reminder that you cannot be kept down. And while those who wished for your failure watch in disbelief, you move forward, untouchable. Their hatred only adds to your triumph, fuels the fire that keeps you blazing higher. Falling was never the end. It was only the beginning. Strength scares people. Real strength. The kind that comes from enduring what should have destroyed you. Makes others uncomfortable. It's easier for them to believe you're weak, to write you off as someone who doesn't have what it takes. But you've never needed their validation, never needed their permission to succeed. Rising higher means defying expectations, rewriting the script they wrote for you. It's a performance, a brutal and beautiful display that leaves them speechless. Your rise is your masterpiece, and they are mere spectators, helpless to stop the spectacle you've become. There is something almost poetic about resilience, the way you've learned to turn agony into art, pain into power. The world may have wanted to break you, but you had other plans. You became the villain in their story, the force they couldn't control. They feared your fall, but your rise haunts them. Every time you stand tall, it is a reminder of their failure, a ghost that won't let them rest. Your strength is a horror story they will tell themselves, a reminder that some people are destined to rise no matter how many times they are brought down. They are afraid now, aren't they? Afraid of what you've become, of the person who emerged from the darkness they tried to drown you in. Every scar is a medal, every wound a badge of honor. You didn't just survive the storm, you became it. Kindness is a weapon people misunderstand. The world, full of skeptics and cynics, twists acts of grace into manipulations, viewing compassion as a disguise for darker intentions. They think kindness masks some selfish agenda, a game played to gain leverage. Suspicion seeps into every gesture, every word, turning generosity into something to be feared. But the secret lies in understanding that kindness isn't about their opinions or their suspicions. It's about being a force they can't corrupt, a light in a world that thrives on shadows. Let them whisper, let them doubt. Be kind anyway, knowing their mistrust is just another form of weakness. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. Success invites attention, and with it comes a parade of sycophants and vipers. False friends will crowd around, dripping with insincere praise, eager to bask in the glow of your triumph. Enemies will sharpen their knives in the dark, plotting your downfall, envying your rise. But success was never meant to be easy or comfortable. It was meant to be a battlefield, where only the strongest thrive. Let the false friends fall away when their loyalty is tested, and let the enemies sharpen their hatred. Your success is a declaration of war, a victory anthem that echoes louder than their schemes. Succeed anyway, and wear their scorn like a crown. Honesty is a double-edged sword. Speak the brutal reality, and some will recoil. Others will try to twist it against you. The world prefers soft lies to hard realities, preferring manipulation over sincerity. The honest are labeled fools, targets for deception, as if straightforwardness is a weakness to exploit. But honesty is a weapon few know how to wield, a devastating force that cuts through illusions. Be honest anyway, even if it makes you vulnerable, even if it paints a target on your back. Let the cheats try their games, for integrity will always outlast trickery, and there is power in being unyieldingly frank. Creation takes time, dedication, and a ruthless will to see something come to life. But destruction? Destruction is quick, merciless, and always lurking. Build your empire, knowing that jealous hands might one day try to tear it down. Watch as your achievements are eyed with envy, as whispers of sabotage echo in the corridors. Yet, build anyway, brick by brick, knowing the value isn't in the permanence, but in the act itself. The world may burn what you create, but your will remains untouchable, unbreakable. Building is defiance, an act of rebellion against entropy. So create, build, and let the saboteurs choke on the ashes of their own failure. If you find serenity and happiness, others may be jealous of you. Be happy anyway. Happiness is an act of rebellion in a world that feeds on misery. Find your joy, and watch as jealousy crawls from the shadows, as bitter souls question how you could possibly find peace while they drown in their discontent. Envy poisons minds, turning admiration into hate, serenity into a target. But happiness isn't about anyone else. It's a fortress, a quiet place you build for yourself. Be happy anyway, even when it stirs resentment. Let them glare. Let them despise your peace. Your happiness is yours alone, untainted by their bitterness, a flame they can never snuff out. Goodness is fleeting, a spark that is too easily extinguished, too often forgotten. Acts of selflessness are rarely remembered, lost in the chaos of everyday life. But doing good was never about recognition. It's about leaving echoes that ripple into the darkness, about being a force that doesn't need validation. Let the world forget your kindness. Let your good deeds vanish like whispers in a storm. Do good anyway, knowing that even if no one else remembers, you will. You'll know that in a world full of takers and traitors, you dared to give. The world is never satisfied, always demanding more, always questioning if your best was truly good enough. Pour your heart into your work, only to hear that it falls short of expectations. Exhaustion and doubt creep in, whispering that your efforts are wasted. But giving your best isn't about pleasing the ungrateful. It's about pushing past limits, about testing your own boundaries. Let the world sneer. Let it dismiss your efforts. Give your best anyway, and do it for yourself, for the joy of knowing you held nothing back, that you stood unbroken and gave everything, even when it wasn't appreciated. They tried to drown your kindness, undermine your success, mock your honesty, and destroy what you built. Yet you kept rising, kept giving, kept creating. Because the spirit that refuses to break is the most dangerous of all. If you don't have enemies, you don't have character. A life lived without opposition, without friction, is a hollow one. Character is not forged in the comfort of admiration or the safety of being liked. It is carved from conflict, from the sharp edges of betrayal, from the storms that leave scars. Those without enemies, without someone plotting their downfall, are often empty vessels, lacking the strength that comes from facing adversaries head-on. Enemies define you, not because you seek them out, but because your existence, your very essence, threatens the complacency of those who fear your strength. If no one stands against you, then perhaps you've never stood for anything at all. Greatness invites enmity. It's an unspoken law of the world, a reality that those who dare to shine must face. Each act of bravery, each declaration of independence, sends ripples that disturb the stagnant waters where cowards dwell. The weak, those who choose safety over honor, despise those who defy their mediocrity. They scheme, they whisper, they try to break the ones who rise above. But the presence of enemies isn't a mark of failure. It's a badge of distinction, a sign that you possess something worth fighting for. Without enemies, your light has never truly pierced the darkness. Enemies are mirrors, reflecting the impact you've had, the power you wield. Each one serves as a testament to your ability to rattle the world, to make waves where others only manage ripples. The envious, the petty, the bitter souls plotting in the shadows, they prove that you matter. In a world that craves conformity, those who choose a different path become threats. Your character isn't defined by the friends you keep, but by the enemies you inspire. The more relentless they become, the clearer it is that you've left a mark, too deep to ignore. Some dream of a life without conflict, without enemies breathing down their necks. But that is a fantasy fit for those who fear living. Real character grows in the heat of battle, in the darkness, where betrayal strikes hardest. Enemies are the ones who test your limits, who force you to become more than you ever thought you could be. Without them, you would remain stagnant, unchallenged, unchanged. They force your hand, make you defend your honor, and strengthen your resolve. The scars they leave become symbols of battles fought and survived, proof that you were never made for the ordinary. The worst insult is to be forgettable, to be the kind of person who leaves no impact, who drifts through life unnoticed. Enemies ensure that you are remembered, that your presence echoes long after you've left the room. They may hate you, they may wish for your downfall, but that only means you've left a scar on their world, a reminder of your strength. The greater your enemies, the more formidable you become. Their rage is a testament to your influence. Their efforts to break you only serve to highlight how deeply you affect them. Character is about standing firm in the storm, about laughing in the face of those who would see you crumble. Your enemies have taught you more about yourself than any friend ever could. They've shown you your blind spots, your weaknesses, and forced you to confront the darkest parts of your soul. But in that confrontation, you found your strength, learned to wield your pain as a weapon, and became something unbreakable. A person without enemies is a person who has never been tested, never been pushed to discover what they are truly made of. There is something deliciously defiant about embracing the hatred directed your way. Enemies think they weaken you, that their animosity will wear you down. But they have never understood the way fire refines iron. Each conflict, each challenge, only makes you sharper, more ruthless. Kindness and weakness are not the same, and you've learned to be kind without being naive, strong without being cruel. It's a balancing act that only those with character can manage. You've risen above their games, seen through their tactics, and faced them head-on, unafraid of the enemies you've earned. A life free of enemies is a life of mediocrity. It's easy to go unnoticed, to fade into the background where no one thinks to target you. But that is not your fate. You were born to be a force, to disrupt, to rise. And in doing so, you've made enemies of those who envy what they cannot achieve. Their bitterness is fuel for your ascent, a reminder that greatness always comes at a price. But you were never afraid of paying that price. You understood from the beginning that standing out meant standing alone, facing those who wished for your failure. Enemies keep you sharp. They are the reason you never grow complacent, the motivation that drives you to keep improving, to keep fighting. Each one represents a battle yet to be won, a challenge to overcome. They make life interesting, turn existence into a game where only the strong survive. The best way to counterattack a hater is to make it blatantly obvious that their attack has had no impact on you. Haters thrive on the idea that their words and actions will hurt you. They want to see cracks in your armor, proof that they've gotten under your skin. It fuels them, gives them a twisted sense of purpose, a reason to believe they hold power over you. But the art of defiance lies in denying them this satisfaction. Let their insults wash over you, like waves breaking against a stone. Stand tall, unflinching, a monument to the strength that mocks their feeble attempts. Your indifference is your most potent weapon, a silent reminder that they are insignificant in the face of your resolve. People expect a reaction, crave it. They launch their attacks, hoping for a sign of weakness, a slip, a crack in your facade. But nothing infuriates a hater more than your calm, your unbothered demeanor. It drives them mad, makes them question their own power. Their words fall into the abyss, unheard, unacknowledged, and they are left shouting into the void. The absence of a reaction is louder than any retort, more cutting than any counterattack. You leave them powerless, irrelevant, forced to confront the emptiness of their own hatred. Strength is silent, unshakable. It's in the way you carry yourself, the way you smile when someone expects you to break. Your calm infuriates those who want to see you suffer. They don't understand how you can rise above, how you can walk away without a second thought. But that's the beauty of mastering yourself. You've reached a place where the noise of haters is just that, noise. It holds no weight, no significance. They throw stones, but you build empires. They waste breath on insults, while you move forward, unstoppable, untouchable. Imagine the rage in their eyes when they realize their attacks have failed, that their words were meaningless. Haters are fueled by the hope that they can bring you down to their level, make you as bitter and resentful as they are. But your greatest revenge is your success, your unbroken spirit. You become a nightmare they cannot escape, a reminder of their own impotence. It's a beautiful irony. The harder they try to tear you down, the more apparent your strength becomes. Your existence becomes their torment, a constant reminder of how little they matter to you. Every hater dreams of leaving a scar, of planting doubt in your mind. But when you show them that their attempts have fallen short, that you are still whole, still thriving, it shatters them. Your resilience is a mirror, reflecting their own weakness, their own inability to shake you. There's a villainous joy in watching their frustration grow, knowing that no matter what they do, you remain untouched. They wanted to see you broken, but all they've done is make you stronger. Their hatred has become your armor, your shield, and it infuriates them. People forget that ignoring an enemy is sometimes the most devastating blow you can deliver. It sends a message, one that screams louder than words. You are beneath me. Your silence speaks volumes, a calculated move that leaves them scrambling for relevance. Let them shout. Let them scheme. Your indifference is the cruelest of punishments. They crave acknowledgement, and by denying them, you make their efforts meaningless. This is not passivity. It's a strategic victory, one that leaves your enemies gasping for a reaction that will never come. While others waste their time fighting pointless battles, you have mastered the art of elevation. Rising above is not weakness. It's an act of dominance. Haters want you in the mud, down where they dwell, but you refuse to stoop. You walk away, head high, leaving them to drown in the swamp of their own bitterness.